Rick Glowett reporting there from Taiwan. EU and US officials are meeting for the 6th Trade and Technology Council in Belgium. The Forum for Cooperation in Technology comes at a crucial time ahead of EU elections in June and the US presidential election later this year. Deutsche Welle correspondent Chiponda Chimbelu joins us now from Berlin. Chiponda, g'day. So what's on the agenda?
Well, Joe, EU and US representatives will be discussing closer collaboration when it comes to technology on topics that include semiconductors, mobile communications, and artificial intelligence. And of course, the timing of this meeting is important for both the EU and the US. For European officials, this meeting is really also about ensuring that there are certain commitments from Washington, commitments that could be kept even if there were a change in the administration there. Now, that, of course, will depend on the result of the US presidential elections in November. So these transatlantic talks are not just about EU-US cooperation, they are also about geopolitics. So China's role in global technology is on the agenda at the TTC meeting in Belgium.
So could the EU and the US join forces in taking on China?
Brussels and Washington will be looking at how they can better coordinate their efforts against China. And one of the major topics will be Chinese semiconductors. EU officials are concerned about so-called legacy chips made in China. Now, these are found in everything from washing machines and cars to even medical devices and military equipment. And while they are not as powerful as the state-of-the-art chips that power AI platforms, the West is concerned about China's dominance in this market. So the EU is expected to announce a plan to carry out a review of the bloc's entire chip supply chain, as there are also concerns about security risks and potential price dumping by Chinese chip makers.
But can Europe realistically compete with China at chip making?
Well, that is highly unlikely, Joe. Despite some efforts here in Europe where we've seen Germany invest billions to ramp up chip production, current projections show China will continue to be the global leader in legacy chip production. Chinese legacy chip making capacity is set to grow to 39% of the overall global market over the next 3 years. Now, that is according to data from TrendForce. European officials will need to strike a balance. On one hand, they need to ensure that the EU does not become too reliant on China for chips in everyday consumer electronics, military hardware, and critical infrastructure. And at the same time, they want to make sure that their actions do not disrupt supply chains for chips to European manufacturers. Now, that could, of course, prove tricky.
Okay, Chiponda Chimbelu, thanks for talking to us from Berlin.